What's up, guys? It's the Osmo.com Night Shift Podcast. We're talking MLB for Tuesday, June 19th. 15 games on the slate. We will get right into it after I talk about Osmo.com. You can sign up for our premium MLB package on Osmo.com. With that, you get the MLB rankings from Osmo himself, as well as the ownership projections, which are my favorite, and then a bunch of other premium content, videos, interviews with Osmo, and just a lot of good stuff. We also have our free stuff like this podcast, the Spotlight Hitters, Pitchers, Stacks, the live stream, and the MLB strategy video. So just constantly pumping out content for you guys pretty much all day, every day. Let's get into this, and I'm just going to go through it ever so quickly. 15 games. We will start with Baltimore and Washington. I will just refresh my page here to see if we've got any more run totals. All right, we don't. Okay, Baltimore and Washington. We've got David Hess going up against, we don't really know, for Washington. So I do like the Washington bats a lot, and depending on who's starting for them, I would probably have interest. Baltimore has been just so awful against right-handed pitching this year, and you know why. It's because they have 8 righties in the lineup, and they're just not very good. So I want to see who starts for Washington. That could be another way to go on a kind of a weird pitching slate. But the Washington stack here, once again, I'm not jumping off. I've loved this stack for a week straight. Just the lineup looks so good. These guys all pop in my model against righties, and I don't think Hess is anything special or someone we should avoid. Milwaukee and Pittsburgh, Freddie Peralta against Jameson Taillon. Peralta leads the league in whiffs per swing percentage in a small sample, but I mean, that right away is going to catch my attention, and so I have a little bit of interest in him. 7,800 is a price I don't think a lot of people will be willing to pay on the road here against Pittsburgh. If he's not going to be chalky, and I don't think he will be, I will definitely have some exposure. So I'm not targeting bats against him. Taillon, I think, is a little bit overpriced for this spot. Milwaukee is not a team I'm looking to target with pitching, especially for $8,400. The run total is low, so maybe people will be on Taillon, but I'm not a big fan of this matchup. I don't see any huge weaknesses for the Brewers. So I like Yelich, Shaw, and Thames, just lefties against Taillon, I think are okay to target. St. Louis and Philadelphia, we've got Luke Weaver against Vince Velasquez. I'm not on Weaver. You guys kind of know my take on him. I think he's always overpriced. I don't think he's that great of a DFS pitcher. Might be fine for real life, but seems like he's always in this like 8K range. And on the road here in Philadelphia, it's 86 degrees, I'm seeing. So, I mean, it doesn't take much for me to get off of Weaver at this price, and I will probably not be on him here. So, Carlos Santana, Nick Williams, Rhys Hoskins, those are the guys that will be in my player pool. And maybe more. Me and Josh will talk more about Weaver. I'm sure he'll like him tomorrow. Vince Velasquez, 8,600 against the Cardinals. Velasquez is striking out over almost, I should say, 30% of righties on the year, and the Cardinals just have a bunch of them. So there's lots of pitchers to choose from. I don't think we're going to have to worry about someone being mega chalk, but Velasquez will be one of the higher owned guys on the slate, I think, just because how much strikeout upside he has, and the fact that he's going to get 7 righties, including a pitcher in there. So that's going to be appealing. It's appealing to me. I see why people want to play him, and I want to play him. Seattle and the Yankees. Marco Gonzalez is in a really tough spot here going into Yankee Stadium. He can get strikeouts at times, but 5.1 run total for the Yankees. And, I mean, I did it with Snell on a 4-game slate, but I'm not doing it here with Marco Gonzalez, lefty against the Yankees. Hicks has been awesome. Judge, Stanton, Sanchez, Gleyber Torres, and Miguel Andujar. That is a really, really tough top 6 for any lefty. So I'm stacking up the Yankees, actually. I just love that Gleyber and Andujar have moved up. It seems like it's a long time coming for those two guys. Domingo Germán going for the Yankees. This kid is so talented. He just had a dominant start last time out against Tampa. It was at home. We've got a 4-run total for Seattle. There's just so many swings and misses for this guy. He's 4th in whiffs per swing rate on the year. Seattle's not a great matchup. I'm not expecting a perfect start, but I am expecting quite a few strikeouts, and he's only 7,300 on DraftKings. So, I mean, I'll play this guy for 8,500, probably 9K in this matchup. I mean, I don't think it's that great, but I think he is very, very good already. So I'm excited about him, and I want to have some exposure for 7,300. It's just too cheap. Atlanta and Toronto. Mike Soroka against Jaime Garcia. Soroka against the Toronto Bats is not all that interesting to me. I think Soroka is quite overpriced here. I'd rather take a shot on Velasquez or Peralta. So 8,900 for him on the road. I will not be going there. Jaime Garcia, I'm also not going to him. The Braves offense, I just respect too much. So Suzuki, Dansby Swanson, we know about Ozzie Albies leading off. Freddie Freeman, 5,600 against a lefty will probably be pretty contrarian, but I'm going to have him in most of my Braves stacks. So if both catchers are in this game, that would be nice. I think that would be beneficial for the Braves if they had both Suzuki and Flowers. They should be doing that against lefties. Just have one of them DH if they can. I don't know how that works out with their positions, but both their numbers against lefties are insane. So, yeah, really like that Braves stack. White Sox and Indians. Carlos Rodon against Mike Clevinger. Just another tough spot for Rodon. He just faced Cleveland last week. I mean, I like Gomes, Lindor, and Jose Ramirez. I mean, it's gotten to the point where I don't even think I need to mention Lindor and Ramirez every day. These guys are such good plays. They're switch hitters, both hit well from both sides, and it feels like I mention them every single day, but they're always in play for me, it seems like. Mike Clevinger, 10-8 on DraftKings, just dominated the White Sox on the road. Gets to face them here at home. Righty-heavy lineup, and that should play right to his strengths. He's much better against righties. White Sox have been bad against righties, and there should be a decent amount of strikeouts to go around. So Clevinger is a nice discount off of Verlander and who's the other stuff? Oh, Chris Sale. So he's almost 2K off Chris Sale, 2,500 off of Verlander. So if you can't get up to those guys, and it's going to be tough, especially with all these good hitters on the slate, then yeah, I think Clevinger makes for a pretty nice option. Detroit and Cincinnati, this one has weather concerns. We've got one below-average pitcher in Matt Boyd, and then one gas can in Saul Romano on the mound. Romano is just one of my favorite guys to stack against. I don't know how or why Cincinnati keeps rolling him out there, but the Tigers are the Reds are actually pretty good against left-handed pitching, and then Romano, the Tigers aren't great against righties, but Romano just lets you put the ball in play every time. So I'll be all over Leonis Martin, Candelario. I even like Goodrum, like the top 5 for the Tigers. Either hand is in play against Saul Romano for me. I just think he's one of the worst pitchers. And then Boyd, I'll be targeting Eugenio Suarez anytime he's against the lefty. He's instantly shoots to the top of my list. And then Adam Duvall, I think, is fine as well. It's tough to get to the Cincinnati stack because they've got all these lefties in there, but 4.8 run total, not a lot of respect for Boyd. So hoping the weather is at least okay and it makes this game playable because I like bats from both sides. Dodgers, Cubs, Rich Hill against Mike Montgomery. More weather concerns here in Chicago. With Hill, it's just hard to tell when he's going to make it through a start. I don't think he's a guy that you can really trust, so I'm not going to use him anyways in this matchup against the Cubs. I like Bryant. I like Wilson Contreras for only 3,600. Rich Hill hasn't even been that good, if I remember correctly. I haven't really dug deep into him just yet, but even before his injuries, I don't think he's been anything special. So Montgomery is not someone I want to play or really target against heavily. Just kind of good at what he does, doesn't allow a lot of hard contact, and then the weather makes it tough right now to recommend any pitcher with 50% chance of rain. So we'll see about the weather, but Kemp and Justin Turner both smashing lefties this year. Kemp more than Turner actually, but Kemp's got like over 50% hard contact against lefties, which is kind of crazy. All right, that's enough on that game. We'll go to Boston and Minnesota. We have Chris Sale coming to Minneapolis to face Jose Barrios. Sale is absolutely one of the best options on the slate, second highest priced pitcher. It's decent weather for him here in Minneapolis. 72 degrees it looks like with some wind blowing in. What's not to like about Sale here? He's going to get a handful of lefties. Not that it really matters for him, but I think he's a great option. And whether it's him or Verlander as the chalk SB1, I think both of them make for solid options. I don't have a strong stance on either of them right now, other than I know they're both good plays. Barrios, righty against Boston, it's just so tough for me to play any righty against Boston, even one that I like in Barrios. It just hasn't been a good strategy this year to play righties against them, and they just continue to rake. So until those numbers start to come down, I will be on the fade righties against Boston train, as most people are. But that being said, I'm not crazy about the Boston right-handed hitters, so Betts and JD. So this one's kind of in a void all around, besides Chris Sale maybe. Not seeing many hitters I like. Maybe Benintendi, but he's 5,200 against a good pitcher in Barrios. I don't know. Probably going to pass on most hitters in that game. Tampa Bay and Houston, Blake Snell against Justin Verlander. Tough spot for Snell, and you're not really getting a discount. He is 9,500 on DraftKings against 8, maybe 9 Houston righties, with Houston heating up. They've had some of these crazy Houston games where they hit 3 or 4 home runs and score 11 runs in 5 innings type of thing. Seems like they've done that a handful of times lately. So Snell's someone that I respect. Definitely respect him. I played him in Yankee Stadium last week, and it worked out until it didn't. But I wouldn't even consider playing Snell, I don't think, for this price on this big of a slate. Nor do I really want to stack against him. If you want to go with Correa and Springer, or like a Evan Gattis, just because he's been insane, he's 4,400. You're not getting a discount on Houston bats either. So this one may be in a void for me as well, besides Verlander, who's the highest priced pitcher. And I think he probably should be, since he's at home. Sale's not. It's sort of a tiebreaker. You get the $600 difference. Tampa Bay is a great matchup. You don't really need me to redo the numbers. 2.7 run total currently tells you all you need to know for Tampa. Strikeout upside is huge. Texas at Kansas City. Cole Hamels against Jason Hamill. Oh, interesting. I didn't even realize that. Hamels versus Hamill. So Hamels is still giving up so much hard contact to righties. Hard contact, something I weigh heavily. And you've got Salvador Perez and Hunter Dozier and Whit Merrifield, who I think are all solid plays. I miss Jorge Soler in this matchup. I would be all over him against Hamels. So, too bad. I think he broke his foot, so he's obviously not going to be playing here. Hamill, he's actually been okay, and I don't know that I'm at the point of actually playing him, but he still looks pretty terrible against lefties, walking guys, giving up a lot of hard hits, and then a low K rate still. So Chu and Gallo and Mazzara, Odor, And this one has some weather concerns. So if the rain holds off, it should be 95 degrees and some wind blowing out, which is pretty great hitting weather, obviously. So I'm sure the Rangers will be popular, assuming this one gets in. But this is going to be one you're going to want to check on as the day goes on. Let's go to Coors Field, Mets and Rockies. Colorado against Jason Vargas is one of the best, if not the best stack of the night, and I think they are the best stack for me right now. You've got Arenado and Story and Desmond and Chris Iannetta, all guys that hit lefties. Desmond probably less than the others, mostly Story, Arenado, and then Vargas. I don't think he's great against lefties. So Charlie Blackmon for 5,800 will be somewhat contrarian, just because he's facing a lefty, but I don't think he should be. The Mets lefties against Marquez all look pretty tasty. I like Marquez, but the Mets have huge splits against righties and lefties. It's kind of night and day, so they're just much, much better against righties. It's in Coors Field. You've got Conforto and Cabrera and Nimmo, who I love. I hope the Mets get somewhat overlooked. Jay Bruce won't be overlooked, 3,700 in Coors against a righty, but I think they will be going under-owned just based on what I'm looking at right now. Arizona and LA, the Angels, Matt Cook against Garrett Richards. Cook had an okay start last time out, but he still looks pretty terrible on paper. 47% hard contact, 11% K rate, and 5 xFIP against righties, actually. So the Angels are one of the most righty-heavy teams in the MLB. You've got Andrelton Simmons back. You've got my boy Luis Valbuena batting 7th, who I like, for only 2,900. That's an excellent punt. And then you've got, of course, Mike Trout, Kinsler. I mean, how do you not like an Angels stack here against Matt Cook? Used my Cook card last time, and I probably will not be going back to that well for maybe forever. Garrett Richards going for the Angels. I think this is the price point, 7,800, where I'd like to take a chance on Richards. And I don't know if he'll be chalky, but he's just so volatile. And for GPPs on big slates, that's when I like to play Richards because he's got such a wide range of outcomes. I mean, if he's going to be 10% or something like that, then I'll have a bunch of him. If he's going to be 30 and he emerges as the chalk guy, then I'll shift over to Freddie Peralta and take my chances there with the lower owned guy. Let's go to Oakland and San Diego. Paul Blackburn against Eric Lauer. I've got nothing good to say about really either of these pitchers. Blackburn looks atrocious to me. It's a short sample, and he got blasted by the Astros, but I think he might get some ownership because of his price and because he's in San Diego against the Padres, and it's a 4-run total. But, I don't think I'll be riding the Paul Blackburn train. So I like Hosmer and Galvis, both as fillers, not targeting heavily against Blackburn, but that's not because I don't want to. I wish the Padres had some better hitters. I think Renfroe is fine as well, or even Perella, just if you need a cheap second baseman or outfielder. I wish the Padres were better so I could stack against Blackburn. But let's go to Lauer. He's striking out more righties than lefties, but still a short sample for him. He sort of gets blasted by righties when they put the ball in play, though. 190 whip and 43% hard contact for Lauer against right-handed hitters this year. So Oakland bats are on the table for me. Pinder's my favorite, 3,400. Just smashing lefties this year. His numbers are kind of insane. You should check them out if you don't go on Fangraphs that often. I think Pinder's just smashing lefties, and I was sort of shocked when I saw it. But he's 3,400 going up against Lauer, the hard contact machine. Chris Davis, 5,200, and then everyone else is kind of cheap. So I don't mind Olsen for 3,800. Huge power for him. Kana for 3,600, and then Barreto even down there at 3,300. let's go to the last game of the night, Miami and San Francisco. Dan Straley against Derek Rodriguez. Straley, it's not really hard. I mean, I should say it's not really hard. It is hard for me to like him here. 18% swinging strike rate in Miami against the Giants last week. He's on the road here, but an even better park for pitching. I never feel great about playing him, but if you just go down this Giants lineup, it's not all that scary. So I'll have some Straley, I'm sure, 6,400. He is a decent underdog right now, and that's probably because Derek Rodriguez will be one of the chalk guys, 6,700, pitching at home. Looks pretty good to me. At home, big park. I'm also not worried about anyone on the Marlins roster against a righty. So Rodriguez, Straley, both will be popular. Rodriguez probably more popular. But two guys I want to monitor ownership on because I think they're both about the same play for me. Maybe a slight edge to Rodriguez just being at home and being favored. But I like both of these guys. So that's going to do it for the Night Shift podcast. Went through 15 games. Go to awesemo.com, get your premium membership, check out the Spotlight hitters, pitchers, and stacks articles that me and Josh will have out tomorrow. And good luck on this huge slate with some big contests.